Hey everyone, it's Jab1000 here with another pull video today, and today is a very special day. Our second global first character has arrived. It's Aranea Highwind here with her EX Plus weapon and also Noctis's EX Plus weapon much earlier than we had expected, but a really nice treat to have. We're gonna be pulling for her EX weapon. We've got 172,000 to spend, and I don't really mind pitying her because I've got enough to pity my other unit as part of Hell Month later on. But this is a very special, you know, once in a lifetime thing, you know, where we can get Aranea way earlier than she's meant to be here in Global. So, before we got into the pulls, I thought this might be a good opportunity to kind of go a bit more in depth as a new character that no one really has any, experience with before, seeing as she's not out in JP yet. I thought it might be a good idea to just go through her kit a bit more for anyone who might have not seen any of the publicity videos for her that were posted by Square Enix themselves. Of course, I'll leave links to them as well. They were very well done. I was really happy to watch them because I thought they were really well done. They really went, the way they explained her kit and how she plays was really easy to follow. It really made it very clear, and was just a really good way to show off this new character and just kind of show us what she can do. So, starting with her skill 1 is Dragoon Dive. It's a 6-hit Brave plus HP attack. It does 50% more critical damage if it's a critical hit, and it also gives Magitech Armament, which is a framed buff, which, as you can see, raises her max brave attack and speed, and also restores her brave, gives her a regen effect, which is 60% of her eye brave. And if it breaks any of the targets, it grants her Overclock, which is a very special buff for her, a framed buff that increases her attack by 30%, increases her max blade overflow limit by 30%, and it also is what upgrades her skills to the plus versions, which have increased effects, increased overflow, and are the much more powerful versions of her abilities. And as you can see, her 15 CP increases the brave damage, increases Magitech Armament's effects, and also, very important, is it gives Overclock an increased duration to 4 turns instead of just 2. And of course her plus version has even more overflow, 180% overflow compared to 150 on its normal form, and it also delays the targets by 2 turns, which is incredible, which is very fun. Next is her second ability, Highwind. So it starts off, regular Highwind can unbreak the target, which, if you're familiar with Vayne or Null, they have similar effects where if the target is broken, then using Highwind will first take them out of break status, and that allows you to re-break them by attacking them again. A 6-hit AoE brave attack, but deals single target HP damage with 150% overflow and splashes 50% to non-targets, and it also, as well as skill 1, has 50% more critical damage. And if it's the plus version, Highwind Plus, it increases the splash damage to 80% splash. What's special about Highwind itself is that it also inflicts a debuff when you initiate the attack. It sticks a 2-turn debuff called Vital Crusher on the target, and Vital Crusher is really cool because all brave damage that the target receives who has the debuff is automatically critical, and that critical damage is multiplied by 1.5. So that's really, really cool. And of course, you already know Aranea has increased critical damage on her abilities anyway, so it just serves to make her even more powerful. And as you can see, her 35 CP increases the brave damage of the ability. It increases the damage if you're just attacking one target, since it's AoE. If there's just one target, the brave damage is more focused and increases. This is what lets you increase the splash damage, and it also has the increased duration of overclock. So before we continue, something to mention about overclock is similar to Vayne as well. If you take Vayne, his stackable buff, which he gets from using his abilities, you'll know that you can use abilities to build up the stacks, and that also refreshes the duration. But once you hit 3 stacks with Vayne, then all your abilities become plus versions. They don't take up a turn, but when you use them, the buff kind of counts down. It doesn't get refreshed by using the abilities, and that's the same here. If you use High Wind Plus or Dragoon Dive Plus, even if they break the target, it won't refresh the buff. It'll still count down from 4 turns to 0, and only by using the normal versions and breaking with those can you actually get the buff back. That's important because we'll come to the EX weapon and the EX ability called Air Superiority. So Air Superiority is an 8-hit group ranged brave attack with 100% HP damage to all enemies. It also deals 50% more critical damage. It normally, when you use it, it gives you the third frame buff that she has, which is High Speed Maneuver for 3 turns. It increases her crit damage even more, her critical damage by another 50%, and also similar to Jekt and King, who we just got recently, if you break a target while High Speed Maneuver is up, then it gives you a free turn that doesn't add to the turn count. So Air Superiority also has a plus version, and so if you break the target, similar to her other 2 abilities, if you just use Air Superiority and it breaks, then you'll get Overclock for 4 turns. If you already have it, then you will have Air Superiority Plus, which, while Overclock is up, if you use it, then it will extend the buff for another 2 turns. So that's really good. If you can use Air Superiority Plus, then you get the Overclock buff for even longer, and you don't have to worry too much about needing to spend the normal versions of Dragoon Dive or High Wind in order to refresh it, because if you're able to continue using Air Superiority Plus as much as possible, then Overclock is able to last even longer and you get a lot more out of it. To go through the passives that you get for unlocking it, you start with something more brave damage. Her second limit break increases the duration of high speed maneuver from 2 turns to 3 turns, and of course the third limit break increases the recast speed. If you EX plus it, then just using a book on it increases the brave damage and overflow. Using 1 ingot increases her max brave and attack, and second ingot lets her start the battle with Magitech armament and high speed maneuver. And finally, if you completely max it out, Air Superiority gets more brave damage, it gets more overflow. Once she uses it, she gets brave back based on 10% of the HP damage she deals. To finish off, her overclock ability has one last effect, which changes her normal brave attack and normal HP attack to upgraded abilities called Boost Lance and High Boost Lance. So regular Boost Lance is a 3-hit Brave attack, which also increases her Brave by 20% of her max Brave before the attack happens. And then High Boost Lance is a 2-hit AoE Brave attack that deals single target HP damage with 120% overflow and 10% splash. Or if you're attacking an enemy that's broken or the attack breaks the enemy, then it also deals 30% splash instead. And if you have an EX Plus weapon that is 3 out of 3, then the abilities also become plus versions, where Boost Lance Plus will increase her Brave, same as before, but now also deal 5 hits. And High Boost Lance will deal 3 Brave attacks instead of 2. And if you break the target or attack a target that's already broken, then it will deal 50% splash instead. So, with all that said, to give a quick recap, Aranea has 3 special buffs and 1 special debuff, and the ways you get them to start with is Magitech Armament, which you can only get from Dragon Dive or Dragon Dive Plus. You can get Overclock by breaking using either Dragon Dive, High Wind, or her EX ability, but only the normal versions of those. Otherwise, you can also use her EX ability, Superiority Plus, to extend Overclock if it's already up. Which it will be, of course, because that's the only way you can get Superiority Plus. And lastly, there's High Speed Maneuver, which you get from using Air Superiority or Air Superiority Plus. And if you have her EX Plus weapon, then you will start the battle already using Magitech Armament and High Speed Maneuver. So that removes the need to necessarily use Dragoon Dive because you already have Magitech Armament. So you can start the battle with High Wind instead. If you break a target, that will give you Overclock, and High Wind is also the only ability that inflicts the debuff Vital Crusher on the enemy. And it's only ever the one enemy that you're targeting. If you want it on more, then you have to use High Wind on more targets, because otherwise Vital Crusher only gets inflicted on the one enemy that you target, even though it deals damage to all targets on the field. So, now that we've got that out of the way, pulling for Aranea, let's get started. So, super exciting. I'm not very well versed in Final Fantasy 15. Contrary to what the thumbnail might make you think, Aranea's not really necessarily like a big waifu unit for me. But I saw her videos that were being shown by Square Enix that showed off her kit. And I was really unsure about pulling for her at the very beginning. I thought, she's not really a character that, really excites me necessarily, because I don't know much about her. So I was very on the fence about pulling for her or not, but when her videos came out, I saw her kit. I thought she looked very, very interesting, was very, very unique. I thought she had a lot to her that made her really fun. So I thought, when it came to this point, I thought, you know what? Let's just pull for her, because she's super fun. And check it out, it took the free pull and 1 pull. How about that, fellas? All that explaining, and it only takes a minute or two to finish off and get her EX. Well, that wasn't a problem. That was really, really good, especially after the last pull that I had, where I had to pity 8 EX. That's very refreshing to see. So anyway, to finish off, I guess, thank you very much for watching. We we managed to get her EX without any trouble at all. Hope you enjoyed the explanation. I'll leave links to other resources that might be able to go a bit more in depth with it. There's a ton of great resources out there that will, help you to understand her kit a bit more if you want to know more information. Otherwise, look forward to her Chaos Battle run that I'll be posting soon. And yeah, hope you have a good day. Good luck to you if you're pulling for her. And I'll see you later.